Hollywood continues to assess the fallout from advancements in AI and what all of it means for the way movies are made and consumed in the future. Our next guest was once one of the most powerful people in the entertainment industry. He now navigates the world of venture capital. Michael Ovitz joins us live from the iConnections conference down in what looks like beautiful Miami Beach. Michael, it is great to welcome you back. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Hey, Scott, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
I think good. I think, Scott, I gotta call you out on something, and I've known you a long time, but you know what a stickler I am about returning phone calls and texts, and you owe me from 2 calls and 2 texts, Scott, and I'm thinking of walking off here.
Okay, please don't. I'll call you right when we're done. We'll settle this. We'll settle this, I promise. My bad, obviously. Look, I'd love to start our conversation about AI and how you are thinking about, as we set up this segment with you, the transformative impact it's having on Hollywood. As I've heard you speak in the past about your fascination with the text to video specifically and how that is going to impact all of that in the future.
Well, I think that AI will have a substantial effect on a number of things in creativity. I don't think it's going to happen as quickly as everyone would hope. The entertainment business over the years has been very slow to adopt outside technologies. They have made, a lot of advancements over the years with types of film and types of cameras. I do think that AI is going to be helpful. One of the things I don't think is going to happen is that it's going to have an immediate use outside of production. I don't see any soul in AI yet. I don't see the kind of things that would attract audiences. What I do see is extraordinarily powerful ability to cut production costs. And I think we're going to start to see that put into place, and I think we're going to start to see applications coming into entertainment that are going to start to be adopted.
I know that you've been thinking a lot about the evolution of media, particularly streaming, as we all really try and get our arms around what the future of our business is going to look like. You said at an event last year, quote, "Streaming has destroyed the business I grew up in." Is it Netflix clearly now and everybody else, or has that still to be decided to some degree?
Look, I don't think anybody, particularly me, can make a prediction about what's going to come around the corner. I think Netflix has basically changed the game. I think Disney's done a very good job, but I do feel that if you would have asked me 10 years ago, could a singular business come in and change the entire viewing patterns of this country, let alone the world, I think anyone that was in the business with a reasonable mind would say no. I think what Ted and the Netflix team has done is revolutionary, and we're just seeing the beginning of it. We're starting to see live events, we're starting to see sports, and basically they have changed how people consume. The concept of binge watching, the concept of seeing every episode of a singular series on demand, it's just everything is different. And then from an economic standpoint, Scott, the business has changed that I grew up in that artists worked and created and were invested in what they did, and they received royalties and profit participations. In the streaming world, you get paid up front, and there's little or no back end involved. Will that change? I don't know, because I'm not quite sure how that formula can work. But I do think the business is incredibly different right now.
And I know you're thinking about the future of it and deal making and the like. Josh Brown, who's on my investment committee, has a question for you along the lines of maybe deals that could be done in streaming in the future, and it would love to ask you a question. Josh?
Hey, Michael, huge fan of your book. So last year was sort of the last year for defense in Hollywood amongst the large publicly traded media companies. Disney got to profitability with its streaming service. Netflix obviously blew everyone's doors off. Paramount found a deep-pocketed buyer with endless money, so we've put that to bed. And now David Zaslav is talking about he's open for business for deal making. So if we think 25 is offense, I guess my question to you is, how badly do you want to put the pads back on and get back into the game? And what do you think investors should expect to see amongst all of these different publicly traded players, and maybe there are too many of them?
Well, Josh, first of all, thank you for your kind words. There's never too many. I will state that I am so happy that the Ellisons got involved with Jerry Cardinal at Paramount. I think that saving that legacy brand is so important to the business. I personally don't think consolidation is over. I think that scale is critical going forward. I do feel that Netflix has changed the economics of the game. I don't think that we're going to ever see it revert to the way it was. I am very bullish on content. I'm very concerned about the cost of it. It is more expensive than ever to make content. And I'm very concerned about distribution patterns, but I think that they are going to be basically overrun by the power of day and date and the streaming and the way that the public is accepting viewing patterns. As far as investors, Josh, there's going to be some opportunities. They're not going to be like they were, but I don't think we've seen the last wave of consolidation.
I mentioned, Michael, we've leaned on your expertise from sort of how you grew up in this business in front of many of us, obviously, but you've also spent a lot of time out in Silicon Valley. You have firsthand experience in helping scale up Andreessen Horowitz, for example. You do a lot of venture capital now. You were an advisor to Palantir, when it was getting going. What is most exciting to you these days out in the Valley? And also, what do you make of the fact that what was, really a church and state sort of deal? You had, Silicon Valley was on the West Coast, White House policymaking was on the East Coast, and there was really never any get-together. And now you literally have Silicon Valley's foot in the Oval. I'm wondering what you make of all that.
Well, I'm very happy that everyone's talking to each other. I think these split schools were terrible for the country. In 1999, Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz approached me to go on their board. That was 25 some years ago. It was the single most life-changing experience for me because they opened up for me a world that I now live in that is the most fascinating, interesting place to be. I am incredibly confident about the talent that we're producing out of the Valley and in this country. I'm very confident about our technology. I know there's all kinds of discussion going on right now about this Chinese AI company. I am bullish on American technology and where we stand. I think that from my standpoint, the entertainment business is going to finally benefit from that tech. And I find that having people in tech and entertainment intertwined with policymakers can only lead to positive things for the country.
We'll leave it there, Michael. It's good to catch up with you. Be well and stay by your phone, because when the show's over, you're going to get a phone call. That's all I can say.
I hope so, Scott. Thanks. Thanks to you. Thanks, Josh.
All right, that's Michael Ovitz from iConnections down in Miami. By the way, don't miss a special Fast Money live from that conference tonight, 5 o'clock Eastern time.